The student rights was basically a front for the HJS, wasn't it?
Exactly, and the social, the Center for Social Cohesion.
Yeah.
So that these organizations are ahead of the curve. What they exist with that symbiotic relationship where they create the stories and they feed them to the media, who reproduce them uncritically.
Absolutely.
And then they use those stories to send them to politicians.
Absolutely.
Who then say, oh, well,
Yep.
we're reacting to public demand.
Yep.
Okay, now if you look at where Henry Jackson Society are going with it, and where others who are linked to a Trump-ish agenda, it's linked to escalating things with China. Now, what that will undoubtedly lead to is increased surveillance of Chinese people here, but also increased attacks on the streets of Chinese people here too. So I think Islamophobia as the dominant racism in our society is here to stay for a while. But I think things are going to take interesting different turns. And it's important to be conscious of those things.
I want to ask you something. Since you mentioned the way that Henry Jackson Society of late has been going after China and producing that kind of war-type rhetoric that they have previously done, because these guys survive off war. Yeah, I've said it straight. I said to one of their people on the BBC Live show, I said, look, without war, you'd be out of a job. Quite frankly, it was a
fantastic.
It was a Hadouken that had to get dropped. I looked at her squarely in the eye. Her name forgot her name, Emily something, but she's gone because they all move around this kind of circuit of think tanks, right? I said, look, without war, you would not have a job, and that's the truth of it. So since they're drumming the beats of war now, yeah, against the Chinese, where does that put Muslims who are seeing what China is doing to the Uyghurs?
The Uyghurs.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
What position, what awkward position does that put Muslims in terms of remaining firm and persistent on and consistent on the issue of adl and justice, where okay, fine, we want China, we know what China's doing to our brothers and sisters up in Xinjiang and East Turkestan, but at the same time, we know that they're going to come after Chinese people here unfairly. What would your advice be to the Muslim community in terms of if they find themselves in that situation?
I think it's possible to be critical of both things at the same time. I don't think it has to be, as somebody such as yourself, with the experience that you have, you're not about to cheerlead for a new projection of mainly the US, but Britain would go along with it, military power. But at the same time, it's about being critical about the sources we're getting information from. It's about being aware of people like the Henry Jackson Society are so amazing because they are taken every single time they speak anywhere in the news. It's as if they're experts.
Yeah.
They're experts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They haven't, not one. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because they literally, none of them speak Arabic.
And they're all experts.
None of them have studied.
They're all experts, bro.
And they're all experts, which is amazing. Something that people have given 40 to 50 years of their life studying. These guys come in and and just think they're. But that's what it is. Exactly as you said, it's an attachment to the war industry, and so I think it's about both things are possible. You don't have to view the world in a very simplistic black or white way. You don't have to say it's about good and evil, because it's not. It's about states have political interests. The one China policy is established. It means that people that have any type of independent or national aspirations around it suffer and are subject to. I mean, seriously, this is the other thing, is even looking at the COVID-19 thing, I personally would not want to live in, the death toll in a lot of other places was a lot lower. But in terms of the monitoring and the state surveillance that was necessary in order to do that, I wouldn't be happy with giving the state that level of power. So I think it's about thinking critically about those things, bro. But yeah, it will put people in a difficult situation, as often these things do, man.